In a small, isolated village called Black Hollow, there was an abandoned cottage at the edge of the forest. No one dared to go near it, especially after sunset. The villagers believed it was cursed, a place of dark magic that had claimed many lives. This wasn't just a local legend, it was real. Decades ago, an old woman named Eleanor Grimsley had lived in that house. People feared her, calling her a witch. Some claimed she could speak to the dead. Others whispered that she cursed those who wronged her. One stormy night, a group of young men broke into her house hoping to prove she was a fraud. They burned her books, broke her belongings, and mocked her as she screamed at them to leave. But before they could, Eleanor cursed them all. "Eleanor, you took everything from me. Now I take something from you. One by one you will suffer, and your children and their children will never know peace." The next morning, Eleanor was found dead. No one knew how, but what followed was far more terrifying. Within a month, all 5 men died under mysterious circumstances. One vanished in the woods, another drowned in his own bathtub, and one was found hanging from a tree, his eyes wide with terror. The last 2, they were never found. Since then, the villagers avoided the house, warning their children never to go near it. Until one fateful night, years later, a group of teenagers from the village decided to test the legend. It was Halloween night when they stood in front of Eleanor's abandoned house, the air thick with mist. The cottage was barely standing, its walls covered in strange symbols that looked carved into the wood. "Liam, let's go inside." Liam grinned, pushing the broken door open. The house was cold, too cold. The air smelled of rotting wood and something sour. As they stepped inside, Olivia turned on her flashlight. The walls were covered in old, torn newspaper clippings. One of them read, "5 young men dead, cursed house of Black Hollow. Josh, maybe we shouldn't be here," but Derek laughed, knocking over an old chair. "Derek, please, it's just a house." Before he could finish, the door slammed shut behind them. And that's when they heard it. A whisper, soft, raspy, coming from the shadows. Voice, "You shouldn't have come." "Emma, who said that?" No one answered. Then Olivia's flashlight flickered violently before going out. In the darkness, something moved. A shadow. No, a figure. An old woman. Suddenly the air grew heavy, making it hard to breathe. The group stumbled backward, their hearts pounding. The figure in the shadows stepped forward. It was Eleanor. Her skin was pale and stretched, her empty eyes locked onto them, and her mouth moved without making a sound. Then in a deep guttural voice she spoke. "Eleanor, I warned them, and now I warn you." Liam screamed as the ground beneath him cracked open, revealing a dark abyss. Hands, bony skeletal hands, rose from the floor, grabbing his ankles. "Liam, help me!" he shouted, but no one could move. One by one, the group felt an invisible force pulling them back. Olivia tried to run, but was thrown against the wall by something unseen. Emma collapsed, her eyes rolling back, her lips whispering words she didn't understand. Josh held on to Derek, but his friend's face twisted in horror. "Derek, she's inside me!" Derek shrieked, his body convulsing. The shadows swallowed him whole. Then, just as suddenly as it started, everything went silent. The group was outside the house, lying in the wet grass. The house was gone, just an empty patch of land remained. But Derek, he was missing. The next morning, the village was in shock. The police searched the area, but there was no trace of Derek. It was as if he had never existed. But Emma knew better. She had seen something before they were thrown out of the house, a shadow standing in the window. It was Derek. His eyes were gone, his mouth stitched shut, and his hand pressed against the glass as if begging for help. No one ever saw him again, and at night when the wind whispers through the village, the people of Black Hollow lock their doors, because sometimes they can still hear Eleanor's voice. "Eleanor, you took something from me. Now I take something from you."